All
Go.
right. Yay,
Hey,
we are
hi
live.
Mary.
Hello. Hi, Lavi.
Hi,
Hello,
hi,
and
hi.
happy week and happy Saturday to
I
everybody.
know. It's an amazing
Yeah,
Saturday. Woohoo! And this is the
I
first
agree.
Guru chat ever, if I'm
Yeah,
not mistaken.
yes. It's our very first Guro chat. So for those people who are watching who don't know what Guro means, you probably hear about Guru but not Guro. Guro is a teacher in Filipino. So basically, what we're trying to do is to create a Twitter chat for teachers, not just Filipino teachers, but also teachers globally, and engage them in a Twitter discussion. So, as Filipinos, we know Twitter is not really that pervasive as a platform, no? Uh,
Yeah,
Fluffy.
it's really
It's not
Facebook
really.
that a lot of
I
teachers
agree.
actually go onto Facebook to ask stuff or to connect with other teachers and the like. But over the years, I've actually found that with Facebook, there's a lot of noise. I mean, there are a lot of
Yeah.
posts there on educators groups where it's just like they're selling something. Unlike on Twitter, you just find the right hashtag and you can actually connect with a lot of wonderful teachers. In fact, that's how we met Mary on Twitter.
Yeah.
Before
Yeah.
we
We met on
actually
Twitter.
met face to face, we actually met on Twitter, and it was chat one of those chat groups that we were participating, which coincidentally would usually happen at around this time.
That's true. So what happens normally is on Twitter, we use Twitter as a way for us to grow what we call the PLN. So if you're a teacher, it's very important for you to start growing your PLN. Some people call it their personal learning network. Some people call it their professional learning network. But either way, whatever you want to call it, and I think it was coined also by another person in the global GEG. His name is
Mm-hmm.
also Alfonso Mendoza.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, he also applied in the Google Innovator. So Alfonso calls it not the PLN but the PLF. He calls it his professional learning family. So
oh,
if you want to grow your professional learning network, you want to be a little bit more global about it, then you might want to jump onto Twitter. So what we're doing right now, just for those people who have never gone into Twitter chat before, is that we are doing a discussion for 1 hour. So what we do is we choose a topic. In this case, our topic is, let me go back to my former slide here.
we have
Our
one
topic
we have a participant so far. Hi, Lisa.
is
Lisa
Lisa's here.
Recto
Really
from the
nice.
well,
Yeah,
she's from the Philippines, but she's teaching internationally, and that is amazing.
I agree. I agree. Thanks, Lisa, for joining. Let me just respond to Lisa.
Yeah, same thing
And
here.
so when you join a Twitter chat, so what happens is first you have to have a Twitter account, right? So you can't join a Twitter chat if you don't have a Twitter account. So first create your Twitter account. And then what you do is you use hashtags to find these amazing discussions or to
Hmm.
find resources. In this case, our Twitter chat is hashtag Guro Chat. So if you want to find out about all of the things that people are talking about under hashtag Guro Chat, then just go ahead and and just type that in and you'll be able to join into the discussion. So when you go into Twitter chat, what normally happens is um, you are asked a question and then you're going to have to answer. But you have to
Uh-huh.
always use the hashtag Guru chat or use the hashtag for that Twitter chat. So in this case, every answer that we're going to be doing will always include Guru chat. Let me show you right now what I
Hmm.
mean. So here is our stream right now. So we've got people joining us, and we can take a look at new tweets right under hashtag Guru Chat. So it looks like
I'm
Lisa,
actually following the same thing as you.
you're not following.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
so I'm
following the same thing as you.
Yeah, you are. Great, great. So we always also have to be in the same chat and also have to put in the hashtag so that the moderators, in this case me and Laffy, the
Mhm.
moderators will be able to see your tweets. So if you tweet and then or you answer but you didn't put in the hashtag, we won't be able to see it. So sayang naman, 'di ba? It's gonna be difficult for us to find your tweet. So you have to always use the hashtag when you tweet. By the way, for our viewers right now in Facebook as well as on YouTube Live, you can put
Yep.
in your comments in
Hmm.
the comment section down below, or you can also just go ahead and put it into the Q&A portion at the lower right corner of your YouTube screen. So under the screen in YouTube, you'll be able to see the Q&A. So there's a portion there called Q&A. So if you're watching this on YouTube, because we're streaming in both channels, then you just go ahead and put in your comments there. We'll be able to see it, and you can ask us questions as well. Or if you want, you can also ask your or also answer uh, the questions that we're going to be asking today. So let me launch into this right now. Our first question
Woohoo!
is
Yep. So
talagang
that's one of the things in
actually wag
Twitter.
muna.
We
So
like to
introduce muna
ask a lot
tayo.
of questions. Yep. So let's start
Introduce
off
muna
with
tayo.
introducing yourself first.
Introduction.
Yeah.
So
Mary,
introduction
let's not
muna.
get
So
so excited yet.
I'm so excited for the Q1.
Yeah.
Okay. So introduce yourself.
Yep.
Mauna ka na.
Me? Okay. Well, obviously
Opo,
me.
siyempre. Mauna ka na.
Yeah. Well, I've also posted my introduction on Twitter. So, yeah, I posted it on Twitter. But anyway, for all of the viewers and listeners right now, I'm Alfonso Mangubat. I'm a teacher at Key School Manila. I'm the IB Diploma Program Coordinator there. I also teach history. On the side, on when I'm not teaching history or when I'm not in the classroom, I'm usually with Mary and some of my PLN, PLF, PLCs, helping train teachers on educational technology. So I'm an Apple Distinguished Educator, and just recently, Mary's really happy that I finally became a Google certified trainer. Woo!
Congrats! Yay! Yay! So I'm actually very happy that Fonsa has joined us in the Google Certified Trainer family. And if you're a
Yep.
teacher and you really like Google tools, I would totally urge you to go and take the certification exams. It's really rewarding, and it would totally grow your family. Uh, a lot of the things and experiences that I've had in the last 4 years, 5 years.
Mhm.
Actually, I've been doing Google for 10 years now. So I can't believe that I've been doing this for a decade now, but the last six
Oh,
years have been really great in growing my PLN because of
mhm.
the Google Certified Innovator program. Without that program, I'd only have this smaller group of people, but the Google Certified Innovator program has really grown that, including the trainer program as well. There are also so many
Yeah.
resources that open up to you, so you might want to go ahead and do that and join. All right, so what are you most excited for this weekend?
I am excited for. What am I excited for? Well, for one, this is our first chat in the using this hashtag. We've been participating in different hashtags in the past, so this is something that's actually quite new, and we are excited to launch this. One more thing that I'm actually excited about is right after this Twitter chat, I'll have to probably leave a little bit early so that I can go to another Zoom meeting so that I could do a Google training. There are some teachers who want to do Google Docs or want to learn Google Docs, so it's a bit of a tight schedule, but I'm happy that I'm doing this.
That's nice.
How about
That's
you,
nice. It's
Mary?
always
What are
good to
you?
train. I've been I'm excited this weekend to finally go to the salon for the very first time in how many
Oh
days? Like,
yeah.
I think the last time I went to the salon was like March.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really, really, you can't imagine the level of excitement I have
Mm-hmm.
in actually going into the salon, getting my hair dyed, getting a manicure and a pedicure, and all of those
Mm-hmm.
pampering things that ladies do. So it used to be a regular thing for me, and because of the pandemic, that's something that
Yeah.
I really miss doing. I'm very happy that the salon I regularly go to finally got their clearance, because I think they have to
Mm-hmm.
have a clearance, right? That
Yes.
they have safety measures to protect their
Mm-hmm.
clients as well as themselves. And that's really
Yeah.
good. So they finally got their clearance. They texted me and told me I'm kind of ready to go. So that's what I'm most excited about. I know. Shower things. All right, so now it's 9:41 and we've already posted our very first question.
Yep. So
And our very
we have one response actually
okay.
from Pen. She's excited to rest and read a book after a hectic weekday of work from home. It's funny actually when you think about it that when you work from home, there's that notion of you being all relaxed and really just not so stressed. But because of this new situation, we're actually quite stressed, or we're still trying to figure out how to do work from home. How about you, Mary? You've been doing work from home for quite some time.
Yeah, I've been working from home for a very long time now. I actually prefer it.
Hmm.
There was really not a lot of differences for me, for now and when I used to work, because one of the things that I was really keen on doing before was preparing a small nook for myself at
Yeah.
home. The reason why I started working from home even before when we had an office was because I hated the traffic. For those people
Yeah.
watching, and if you're not from Manila, the traffic is really terrible. It's really, really bad. So
Hmm.
our office was way far away. Not really far away. It's actually 10-15 minutes away, BGC.
Hmm.
And the BGC from my house is just 15 minutes away if there was no traffic. But because of the traffic, it takes 90 minutes to get there. And
That
the
is
90
true.
minutes that you can spend, so much you can already do. So I decided to just work from home or work from anywhere virtually.
Hmm.
And that really worked out. So during the pandemic, during the quarantine period, there was really no change. The only change is that people discovered video meetings. So
Hmm.
people started realizing that okay, we can actually do video meetings, and because of that, my days were filled with meetings and webinars because people suddenly needed to learn more about online learning, and that's the reason why we have this topic for today, because
Yeah.
August 24th is our start of classes here in the
Hmm.
Philippines, and teachers are really having a difficult time transforming their lessons for online teaching. It's not the same. So, what was your biggest challenge when transforming your lessons for online teaching?
Well, well, to start off, when we began our online classes last March to April, we thought that okay, let's just do what we would normally do, which is we go online, turn on our video cameras, and then just start talking about the lesson for that day. But then that was a challenge because you'd think that okay, that we're just going to do this for an hour and a half over the next few days, and then you realize, oh my, it's actually quite tiring for both the teacher and the student. And that's one thing that I learned right then and there, that it was quite a challenge to sustain students'
That's
interest
true.
online.
That is true.
Mhm.
I agree. Like we have a response here from Lisa. She said, "My biggest challenge is streamlining my lessons under 10 minutes. It's finding the
Oh yeah.
core of the lesson, being able
Hmm.
to create activities that will engage the students, and I'm still working on it. And I think everybody's trying to work on that. I mean,
Yep.
a higher level of engagement, right?
Hmm.
And for me, I did answer this. I said I didn't realize how much I love to move. and do
Yeah,
kinetic exercises and icebreakers. Because some of
I've
my
seen you
icebreakers, I
training.
actually ask people to, yeah, I ask people to stand up and sometimes
Hmm.
even get into an empty room or even get out of the room sometimes. And teaching
Yeah.
with only like faces and screens in front of me, it was so
Hmm.
hard. It was so
Hmm.
difficult. That was a
Believe
big
me, if
challenge
you've
for me because
attended
I
Mary's
like to,
Mary's training, right, Mary?
you
I
know,
mean, I've attended some of your trainings, and I would usually think, okay, I'm going to sit on front of my computer. I'm going to listen to my trainer. Okay, I'm getting ready to log into my Google account, and then suddenly, nope, that's not going to happen right now. And that's, yeah, I miss that. I miss that kinetic movement. You having to work the room, so to speak.
that's true. I mean, that's one of the things. Originally, when I used to train, I was a little formal. Although, I always had that ability to really move. I really like moving. Even before, even with some of the jobs that I have, I like to pace in front of the computer while I'm talking on the phone. I usually
Hmm.
do that. So whenever I'm training, I'm actually pacing on the stage. Even on a keynote, for example, when I'm doing a keynote, I'm usually pacing on the stage. And just being in front of the computer like this is really hard for me. So being able to adjust to that was actually the difficult thing. Pen was saying that, let me just can I let me
Yeah.
make this a little bigger. Oh, I
Here,
can do
let
that. I can
me
zoom.
read it for you.
Yeah.
So Penn replied with, "We're not transitioning to online learning because the result of the survey we conducted to parents and students showed that they prefer modular distance learning, and the reason is lack of internet connection. Maybe that's the
Okay.
challenge for us in the public sector." We definitely feel for you, Penn. It's not just something that's happening in the public sector, but everywhere else in the private sector as well. I've heard stories of schools having to shut down because there were a lack of enrollees, and also there were parents who just couldn't afford the education of a private school. So they're looking at different modes and models of online learning or distance learning during this period. So we feel for you, and as teachers, let's continue to look for different ways on helping out, on making sure that our students are supported during this time.
That's true. And actually, what I'm gonna say though about this topic is that I did read the rationale behind the DepEd Commons. So our Department of Education has created a learning resource hub called the DepEd Commons. It was, I think, in my opinion, a little late for them to create something like that, but it was a good response to this to the pandemic, and I really approve. When I
Mhm.
read the rationale, it seems that they did a survey, like what Pen was saying, that
Yeah.
uh, that there was a survey that was done, but this is for the teachers. And considering the
Mhm.
Department of Education in the Philippines is the largest workforce in the country, they have over
Mhm.
800,000 people in Department of Education. And this survey surveyed around 680 plus thousand of these teachers responded. And it says there that there's a lot of teachers that are actually connected like online, they're internet connected. And even here in the Philippines, we are actually connected to the internet because Filipinos are Facebook users. We are one of the
Yeah.
highest Facebook users in the world. And if we can do
Mhm.
Facebook, then that means we can do this, that we can actually teach or learn online. Unfortunately,
Mhm.
how we are using the internet is really not for learning, and I think that shift in thinking has to happen before we
Yes.
can really do this successfully in the public sector. Also, it's really expensive. Internet is expensive here in the Philippines, and we can't really
Definitely.
expect everybody to spend right that much money in order to just get connected. But right now, there's really no choice. So modular distance learning, though, I think that you can still find a way, even if it's asynchronous, like
Yep.
completely asynchronous. I think you can
Mhm.
still find a way to use the internet really well for this because although, like I said, although you think they're not connected, they are. They
Yeah.
actually are. I do have a Hootsuite survey around that this year, that came out, that I think we are 78% connected. So
Woohoo.
that's a high.
Yep,
Yeah, that's
that
a
is
very
high, and that actually has a lot of promise if we're going to really tap into that resource, right?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I did a recent research around that about connectivity, and it's been
Mm-hmm.
really uh, very revealing about our behavior as Filipinos. So I think my next question is coming up by now. It's
Yep,
nine
it's
fifty,
actually
and I
there.
have my Q2 coming
Mhm.
up. It's there now. So
Yep.
we
What do
are.
you miss the most in your physical classroom, and how do you plan to replicate it?
How do you plan to replicate it? What do you miss the most?
Well, I miss actually the inter. Well, I actually just posted my answer, so I'll read it out loud. What I miss most about the physical classroom are the face-to-face interactions, the noise. Who'd have thought, right? And the open space of walking around and checking up on students. So just like you, Mary, I miss having to go around, work the room, check up on students, and surprisingly, it's the noise. Though you can have the noise on Zoom or on Google Meet, but then your speakers will not thank you in the long run, and you
Yeah.
also won't actually get to hone in on what somebody's actually saying. So that's something I'll miss the most. I think for our school, we're going to be focusing on online learning for the rest of the school year. So I won't be able to see my
Okay.
students for quite some time. It's actually sad.
Ah. Yeah. Well, I think you can find a way to make it to kind of have that interaction with them again. I've found so many examples though online of
Mm-hmm.
what teachers have been doing. It's really inspiring what they've been doing to kind of replicate the atmosphere that they used to have being in the same classroom. And
Mm-hmm.
I think I did. I I know that I have posted something, but it's probably gonna post in a minute or two. I just want to tell you
Uh-huh.
guys that if you like scheduling your tweets, TweetDeck is a really amazing app. So if
Mm-hmm.
you've not been using it to schedule your tweets, let's say what if you want to tweet something and it's the middle of the night and you feel that it's not appropriate, you might want to just
Mm-hmm.
use TweetDeck to schedule those tweets, at the proper time. So what I miss the most, again, I still I like moving, and so replicating that by doing activities. And I want to just get a shout out right now. Shout out to Betcha Boy, and excuse me, shout out to Betcha Boy and shout out to Kimberly Hall. So
Mm-hmm.
Chris recently shared something with me, an activity for scavenger hunting. And
Ooh.
how scavenger hunting is like, find me a red, say a red scarf, or
Mm-hmm.
uh, get a white cup or a black cup or something like that. And whoever, so basically, what they've done is they've created a slide, and in every slide would have the thing that you have to find. And so the students will now have to stand up and find it and come
Mm-hmm.
back to this room and then show it in front of the camera that they found it. And basically, that's how you find who the winner is at that particular game. And I think the activity is action packed,
Mm-hmm.
so that really appeals to me a lot. And that's one of the things that I really like. So thank you again for suggesting that. That was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
all the teachers that are,
remember.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember in one of the trainings that you did. I think it was with Assumption. You brought out the breakout EDU box,
Oh
and
yeah. Oh,
yeah. So
goodness.
I was thinking, I'm sure there's probably those digital breakout EDUs somewhere, and true enough, there are. There were some
Yeah.
very good teachers who took different activities and started using like different applications like Google Sites, Google Docs, um, basically leveraging the internet to do these online breakout EDUs. And I'm actually going to start looking for some for history so that I could also do some breakout sessions with my students.
Actually, if you want to invest on it, shout out to James Sanders for being such an amazing teacher and amazing human for creating the Breakout EDU
Mm-hmm.
box, the Breakout EDU game. So there is, if you go to breakoutedu.com, there's actually a digital breakout there that you
Mm-hmm.
can do. But for you to be able to get into the library of different breakout sessions for different subjects the teachers have done, you're gonna have to subscribe to uh,
Yeah.
to Breakout EDU. Well, right now I do have a Breakout EDU box. Thank you very much, Wendy, for giving that to me. Thanks, Wendy Gordon.
Show it. Show it.
Well,
Show
show
it.
it.
Show it.
Wait, wait.
Show it. Show it. And there we have Mary running off to get her breakout EDU box. So for
So
those who
here
aren't yet
it is.
familiar with it, it's actually
So
like if you
this
know
is like,
breakout rooms, so that's the
yeah,
concept is the
like escape
same.
Manila. Yeah, so this is what it looks like. This is heavy. And you can make your own breakout EDU box. You can open source this if you
Mm-hmm.
like. So you just need to have a lot of locks. So there's really amazing locks in here, like my word lock. I've got my directional lock. See? So can you just imagine the kind of questions that you can have and puzzles that you can have your kids do in order to get them to be more engaged? So you can create a scene or a puzzle for them to solve, and they all have to work together for 45 minutes to solve that puzzle. And that's basically how you're going to do your breakout. So it's really like Escape Manila, and
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty great, and there's so many ways that you can use this one box for all of your subjects, so you can actually share this. So if you're in a school and you'd like to invest in a breakout edu box, you can actually just buy one box and just
Mm-hmm.
share it among your teachers, because
Yep.
every teacher would have a different breakout session that will be designed around a breakout edu, but at least you all have access to the same resource, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you don't really have to spend that much. I used to open source mine
Okay.
before this thing came out. I used to open source mine. It really was not I really didn't have like the official version. This is the official version, but I used to just create my own boxes, buy my own locks. It's really up to you guys. I mean, be creative. So the contents of the Breakout EDU box is right there in the website. Again, it's breakoutedu.com. So for those people who are watching, I'm just gonna go ahead and create that banner right here. And if you want to check it out, it's breakoutedu.com. Let me just add this banner and show it. So there, just in case you can't understand me very well, that's breakoutedu.com. So that's our that's really amazing. So
Mm-hmm.
just so sorry, let me just hide this to
Yeah.
match there.
Let's. I'll
So
read
we
out
have
some
a
responses.
president.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so she said, go
Lisa
ahead.
says that she misses her whiteboard and misses being able to group students dynamically, which I can't do, meaning I have to plan ahead. She also uses Jamboard on the iPad to show lessons, especially in math, and having chats with small groups of students via Google Meet. And then
Well,
we have Pen, who's sharing that she misses the physical classroom teaching. Well, hearing the stories, opinions, and suggestions of her students during class discussion, as well as well, she goes on to add like replicating the physical or an online classroom. It's hard, but maybe as I follow up their work, I can ask them what they feel and where they are struggling at with regard to the modules they're working on, not just in my subject but also in the other subjects as well. So a lot of
that's
teachers
nice.
are a lot of us teachers were missing the classrooms dearly.
Yeah, so let me just go ahead and maybe retweet this one. It's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, it's really harder because this thing is zoomed out. You know, it is when you zoom out things, it doesn't render as well. So what
Yep.
else do we have? Oh, so you were saying that your classroom has a lot of wall displays?
Yep. So like we in my class, so we'd have like at the start of the unit, this is what my students would know, and then we would build up on it. So as the unit goes along, the wall gets even more and more complex and complicated because students are adding stuff on it, and that's something that I'll sorely miss because my students are able to create a lot of interesting work as well. But given that this is the
Yeah.
situation we're in, might as
But
well make
Padlet,
use of Padlet and Google
yeah,
Jamboard actually. Yeah.
yeah. Because
Jamboard I
Padlet is
haven't
paid now. So sad about that.
yeah, I know. Yeah, well, good thing I was
Yeah.
able to get a lot of boards up before Padlet had that paywall set up. So I have like around 41
Yeah.
walls, which is good enough already when you think about it. But of
Fair
course,
enough.
nothing beats
Well,
having it
Jamboard's
for
pretty
free.
great. I think that's true.
Mm-hmm.
For Jamboard, I think I have a presentation somewhere. I'm just gonna
Mm-hmm.
find it and share it with you. And it actually has many examples about how are you gonna use Jamboard in the classroom, how are you gonna use it to engage students, and how to solicit feedback as well from them and their answers to your questions, how to do certain things like matching type, how to do like stuff like that. And
Yep.
it's really good to use Jamboard for all of these things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Plus,
think Jamboard as a
it's going to be
replacement for
integrated into
your
Google
physical
Meet.
whiteboard is actually good, but nothing replaces being able to write.
Right.
Especially,
Yeah.
yeah, the only thing I love though about Jamboard versus actually using the whiteboard is that uh, Jamboard has auto draw.
Mm-hmm.
Jamboard has auto draw, and auto draw is very hard to beat. If you're a teacher, if you're watching right now, and if you're a teacher and you're struggling with illustrating things, then I suggest take a look at Jamboard. It has something there called auto draw, and what it does is um, even if you have this chicken scroll kind of drawing, like sometimes I do, it's still able to
Mm-hmm.
recognize it and then make it, transform it into this nice, good drawing. So you can just try and use that. If you're not very good with illustrating things, then you can use AutoDraw inside Jamboard. Right now, I don't think it's available on the web version of Jamboard, but it's available on the mobile version of
Mm-hmm.
Jamboard. So it again, it works on your phone, it works on your Android, your iPad as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have our next question here. What resource helped you the
Yeah.
most during this preparation? So,
Well,
what resource helped you the
what
most?
resource? Well, I
Yeah.
consider the people on Twitter that are amazing resources. Man, when the lockdown started, or even not even the lockdown here in the Philippines, but the lockdown in some other parts of the world started, man, they were
Mm-hmm.
an amazing resource. Shout out to the educators in Hong Kong, especially Adam Hill and the other educators there who've done online learning since January, and they've done an amazing work. It's their work was like the basis of how we're going to be doing it in our own system, in our own setting. I'd like to also think about a post that I shared a few months ago about those teachers who overnight had to Apollo 13 the classroom to really meet the demands of online learning. So they were an amazing bunch, and these teachers just kept on sharing and sharing whatever reflections and resources they had.
Yeah, it's really amazing how people actually come together in a time of crisis, and that's one of the things that I that I really take away from this whole pandemic. That okay, fine. Uh, there is this one thing that Sandra Chow,
Mm-hmm.
she's a Canadian who's teaching in Beijing, and it's really amazing
Mm-hmm.
what she said before. She said when they started out with with the lockdown and putting everything online. And look, she
Mm-hmm.
was in China, so they put everything online. They found that as an ed tech coordinator and an ed tech coach, they were
Mm-hmm.
not really the most favorite people in the school before. Like where they would push for new lessons, they would push for new tools, but people would just ignore some of the teachers would just ignore them and think that's another thing for us to learn, that's another thing for us to do, right? It's added responsibility, and some teachers would just ignore them. But because of the lockdown, what happened was they became the most loved and popular people all of a sudden. Well, like people suddenly started going to them and then asking, hey, what are we gonna do, how are we gonna do this?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a shining time for edtech coaches. Like if you're in
Oh
the
yeah.
edtech world, you're
You
shining
are
right now.
the savior right now. They
You're the
see you
savior
as a savior.
because
Mm-hmm.
it's very difficult. Like a lot of the people who are doing this have been doing this for a long time. At least the edtech
Exactly.
coordinators, they've been doing this for a long time. This is not new to them. Doing video
Mm-hmm.
meetings, doing live streams, creating screencasts.
How do you
Those are all
integrate apps?
how do you integrate applications. Those are all not new things to edtech
Yep.
coordinators, but they're so new to the people who have never used them before. And I think as coaches and as edtech people, we need to make sure that we understand these teachers and that we have to also slow down for them because this is the first time that they're doing this. They're just learning to
Mm-hmm.
walk and we're already
Yep.
running. So we need to kind of at least take a step back, slow things down for them, break it down a little further so that they can start doing this. Sandra at that time said before they were just dipping their toes into the pool of all of
Now
these
they're
tech tools.
swimming.
Now they find themselves into the pool and they're swimming. They're actually swimming. They find they can swim. And I really feel that that's the lesson that we can take out of all of this, that we can swim, right? So don't be
Yep.
afraid to try many different types of tools that are out there. Just try it. Nothing's gonna
Mm-hmm.
happen if try it. So let's see. Lisa just answered. She
Yep.
said
They
she
banded
said that
together.
yeah, they're banded together via chat and talked about how to do lessons via Seesaw. Nice. Oh, we have to tag Riza because Riza is a Seesaw fan, isn't she?
Yes. Yes, she is.
Yeah,
So let me go
she's a
ahead
Seesaw.
and tag her there.
Go ahead and tag her in
She's
this.
been advocating she's been advocating seesaw for the longest time.
Yeah, I remember she was what is that other thing that she was using? A Bunsey?
Flipgrid. But is
Flipgrid
it but
Bunsey. Yeah, she's also using Bunsey. And for a
Mhm.
physical education teacher, I'm surprised that she's using a lot of these exact tools. Risa is really um, one of my one of the people that I'd like to see in the next episodes of the Weekend Habit. So
Yep.
here we also have about how to edit video, shared resources, and other simple how-tos with and about tech. That's really great. Like I said before, it's important that you grow your PLN, and your PLN will really help you. And in this time, for me, my resource is yeah, teach from home because I'm a heavy Google user. I would, and if you don't know where to start, then go to teach from home because there are so many resources there that would give you and also parents and
Mm-hmm.
students how to learn, and basically for parents as well, what sort of support they can give to their kids during this time while they're learning. So yeah, go ahead and get a visit. Like that's teachfromhome.google. I just put the slash intl slash international slash english for us Filipinos. We actually prefer English over our own language, which is sometimes sad, sometimes not. Gives us a little bit of an
Mm-hmm.
edge, but not really that much, right? We will not hear that noise for quite some time. For the missing the noise.
Yep. We are
That's
missing the
true.
noise. We don't
You know what I
like
do?
it, but but we will miss it dearly.
I think I did answer something here. Give me a second.
Yep. Well, I also
Uh,
shared on Twitter that I'll definitely, well, a resource that was really helpful even before all of this lockdown was the apps that I've been using. Again, Padlet has always been my go-to app. I've had Flipgrid
yeah.
in my Flipgrid, Edpuzzle, Pair Deck are all in my go-to apps bag. So every time I think about the lesson or what I can do for online classes, then those apps have been my go-to. And I cannot stress also enough how much of a fan I am of Google Classroom. Google Classroom's it's an LMS for beginners, and it just really works well with all of the Google apps, and I don't have to worry about it.
That's true. It really works well with others. I know that a lot of people are knocking it because because they said like it's too simplistic. Google
Yeah.
Classroom does not really, feel the need, but actually, if you just delve a little deeper, Google Classroom has
Mhm.
so much going for it. It has so much going for it when it comes to giving feedback to your
Yep.
students. There's so many ways that you can actually give feedback within Google Classroom, either within an assignment or within the classroom stream itself. And that's something that you really have to explore. If you haven't explored that, go give it a go. Like I said a while ago, try and try these tools out, and don't just try
Mhm.
it shallowly. Delve a little deeper because there might be some hidden nuggets in there that you haven't tried. I think I missed this. Pen said we are now developing modules for each MELC. Do you know what MELC means? I don't.
No, not
Learning center?
modified, enhanced, learn. You know,
Yeah.
all of the letters being thrown around by our government, every time I see the letter M and E, it's like modified, enhanced, and then C
Advanced.
would undoubtedly be the community. So modified, enhanced learning community. I
Learning
don't know.
community. We should ask her. And when the school starts, thesis modules will be printed and delivered to each barangay where our students are. So basically, for the whole, we have to check on them from time to time through
Hmm.
phone call. I think that's really tedious. Like whoever said the teachers are not doing anything during this online teaching and that it's
That is
easier,
wrong. They are
that
wrong.
is totally wrong. So it's not easy, guys. So let's show a little bit more love for our teachers.
Mhm.
And then we have something here for the apps. I think I also answered somewhere that I like to have activities where just before the activity, I tell my trainees and I tell the participants or the students, this activity will need you to unmute because I also
Mhm.
miss the noise. So everybody
Yeah.
just go ahead and unmute. I just want you all to unmute right now and we're all just gonna make some noise, right? So I think it's really important to kind of have these little breaks in the middle to just make a little bit more noise. For you were
Yep.
using puzzle pair deck. Pair deck is really great.
Yep.
Pair deck is
Shout
amazing
out to the
for
Pair Deck
engagement.
people. You've been
Pair
really
deck.
amazing. Shout out to
And
you,
then for the
Mary, for introducing Pair Deck to me.
oh, I have a new one. I'll introduce it
Really?
to you after you finish your training later.
Oh
I have a
my.
new one you're with. For the past 2 years,
Share.
I was this is what
You tell
you
me.
said. No, it's something new. I'm gonna have to try it first,
Okay.
uh, and then I'll let you know what my experience is, and then I'll show you before I endorse. So Pen said for
Okay.
the past 2 years, I was not able to handle an advising class. This year, there's no face-to-face interaction. I was given an advising class for the first time in my present school, and I will still try my best. Do or do not. There is no try. Sabi
Yeah.
ni Yoda. Yeah, so um, Riza, come join us. Yeah, we just invited Riza in. So
I
in my
don't know if
Q4, what
Rita
was your major takeaway? I hope that well, she's definitely awake. You know, she wakes up really early. So
mm-hmm.
let's see.
Well, that's the physical
What was
ed teacher in
Oo nga, totoo. I can't take it. So early. What was your major takeaway? This is our question 4. What was your major takeaway from online teaching during quarantine that you will apply next school year, because we had a period where it was almost the end of the school year, and
Hmm.
then we all had to transition to online teaching. And
Not
I
for
think that
us.
a lot of teachers, not for you, not for you. Did you
Yeah.
transition? You never
Yeah, we had to transition because my program
transition.
ends in April. So classes were suspended already March 10, but we still had a few, we had more than a month to cover. Pa. So I had to transition
Uh-oh.
really quickly.
Ah, okay. Pero I think if you were using, that's the thing, right? I think the
Mhm.
earlier that you adapt, or that you adopt technology inside your school, the easier it would have been for you to transition.
Yeah,
However,
definitely.
if you've not been using technology, it's actually a lot harder for you to
Hmm.
transition into online teaching. For example, I got some inquiries just in the past few months about going Google finally. And these are some
Uh-huh.
schools that I've been talking to for a long time, schools that I've been trying to get onto the platform for a very long time. And it's just
Hmm.
now that they're doing it. And on the
Well,
other
it's
hand,
better late than never then.
oh, better late than never, definitely. I mean, you don't really have
Yeah,
much of a choice at the moment. But for
exactly.
those schools that adopted it like a lot earlier, their feedback to me was like, it was a good thing we did this then.
Hmm.
Because
We're
now,
we're actually lucky because our high school, well, our school is using G Suite. Not that I'm endorsing, but since we've been using it for quite some time, and you know my story, Mary, I shared how to use Google Classroom among a group of teachers, and ever
yeah, and then,
since it just been going on, getting bigger in scale, and
yeah,
truthfully, it's not too much of a hassle on our end.
that's true. I mean, you know me, I'm an advocate of Google. I'm an advocate
Yeah.
of Google in the classroom and G Suite. And I'm not gonna lie, I've tried some of the other tools, and I just find that G Suite for education and the offering itself and the platform is very difficult to beat,
Mm-hmm.
because one, it's free. You don't have to pay for it.
Yeah.
The other the other thing is so easy to manage and so easy to learn, because a lot of the tools are consumer level tools. And if you can just bring that level of um, easy an easy user experience for all of your
Mm-hmm.
students, teachers, and parents, I think it would have been easier for them to adopt it, and that's why I like it. I have one here though for my A4, for my answer to the question, what was my major takeaway? My major takeaway is buy a mic. Buy a mic so you don't have to be sitting all the time. If you have a mic, I actually ordered one, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not arrived yet, but I ordered one. If you have a little space, like just a little bit of space in front of your computer, you can stand up and just space a little in front of your screen and do like bigger gestures. You can, for example, if you want to show the breakout EDU box, which I'm going to show again, right? So if you want to show something like a full installation, like right behind you, then you can do that if you have a good mic, because your voice will still get picked up even if you're a little farther from your screen, and that would help people like me that need to move
Mm-hmm.
in order to think, or else nagtuturo ka, you're actually teaching and you're gonna fall asleep
You're sleeping. Yep.
on your seat.
That's why, Mary,
I see.
if you can hear me really loud and clear, that's the
No, I'm so
problem.
I'm so you get with your mic. So I can see here that you said don't rely on technology too much. It might be convenient and easy, but it comes at a cost of being complacent and lax. Like, yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's true. I've seen some platforms that already contain materials as well,
Yep.
and all of the materials are already there, and so the teachers don't have to create. I
Mm-hmm.
think you still need to create. I still think that creationing should be a part of what you do and what your students are doing, instead of just consuming all of this information. You're a fan of
Yeah.
inquiry learning. You know this. You know
Yes,
this very
definitely.
well.
I've
Yeah.
done a lot of webinars in the over the past couple of weeks. A lot of teachers, I've been receiving a lot of queries from teachers, like asking where is the perfect resource where all of my lessons are already there. In fact, Mary, we were in even in a call for one teacher who was just asking like, I want to be able to have this system where all of our lessons are already in place. And I'm like, there's no such thing as that. You'd have to start it out first. You have to build it so that you can really road test it, right?
The nice thing about building is that you don't really have to build everything all at once,
Yep.
because you don't know how it's going to perform until you actually present it and use it in
Yeah.
classes. And then you will find that you might need to change some things, improve on things. And again, I'm a design thinking advocate as well. So one of
Mm-hmm.
the that I advocate is failing fast. So you need to be able to fail fast. What it means is learn what doesn't work and then
Mm-hmm.
improve. Learn what doesn't work really fast and improve
I am
on
going
it.
to tweet that right now.
Yeah.
Learn what doesn't work, because
So
that
learn
is
what doesn't
something we all need to know.
yeah, learn what doesn't work. And then just take a look at what works, keep that, learn what doesn't work, improve on that. We've got one from Betcha Boy. Oh, okay. Thank you
I
for the
have that.
support. Thanks for the support. So he said Google Classroom usage had a huge spike during the learn from home period and has stayed quite high. So it seems that teachers really got value from using Classroom, both in the remote situation and now back at school. Right. So yeah, he knows what he's talking about because he's from Google. So he must know how much the spike
These
is.
the statistics.
Yeah, these are share us the statistics. I don't. I think it's confidential, right? But if you can share it, that would be great, right? So
Even amongst us.
I'm pretty sure that a lot of people, a lot of these companies like Zoom, even Microsoft Teams, Google Meet, had a huge spike in usage over this period. Even in searches, if you go to Google Trends, you'll be able to see the trend in the number of people that are searching for these tools
Mhm.
online. And there was a really big spike, especially for Zoom. Zoom was the company that like made so much money out of this. Right? They made a lot of they gained a lot of traction.
Yep.
For you, you said that in some of the webinars that you've done, here are the tips that you've shared so far. Less is more. Manage expectations, connect, and communicate. Correct. Always keep the channels open. I think find
Yep.
as many channels as you can to get your students to talk to you and to share with you what they need, because they're
Mm.
not there in the class with you. You need to be able to put in a place where they can safely talk to you and tell you what their concerns are. Okay, I can see that Alfonso, you have to leave in a few minutes.
Yeah.
So we already are in our final question anyway. Chris was also
Mm-hmm.
saying that kids are resilient and can learn in all kinds of situations, and that we sometimes place too much importance on the content of our subjects. We can teach less, we can slow down, it'll be okay. The world won't end. I think he's an advocate of throwing pillows at kids while they're learning to walk, right? So the final question that I have in here. Oh, Lisa said when teachers work together, students are on the winning end. This is so good. Definitely retweet. Super retweetable. We communicated more with each other than we did in person. It has benefited every one of us in the process. Again, one of those things that we learned is that we are actually able to communicate. It says, share a funny meme or story about you, your peers. Did you share a meme?
No, I haven't shared the meme. I've been searching for the perfect one, but couldn't find any. But I like the meme you posted.
I'm a Star
And
Wars
with
fan.
that, I have to say goodbye first.
Okay,
Okay,
so thank
Mary,
you
thank
very much
you.
for joining me today.
Yep. Thank you also for having
Thank
me.
you for joining me. Next week we're gonna see each other again.
Yes.
So uh, so
See
next
you.
week we're gonna definitely see each other again. And hold on, let me just exit this. All right, everybody, just say goodbye to Laffy now. I think he just left. There you go. So thank you very much again. This is our final question for the day. And we have 5 minutes to go. And for those people who have joined, let me just go ahead and retweet this. Once again, Lisa was saying communication has spiked for this whole pandemic, and it's really great to see teachers working together to create engaging lessons for all of our students. And I think we just have to keep doing that, keep doing what works. And also for this one, it is pretty good. Let me just go ahead and retweet this. That we need to trust our kids more. Let's trust that they're quite resilient and that they will do whatever is necessary to learn. I think they can learn in every kind of situation as well. All right. Let's see. Alfonso said, share a funny meme. Oh, okay. So he just retweeted. Lisa said, I shared it here before on Twitter. My is it a cat or a dog would make a casual appearance during Google Meet, and my audience. Yeah, sometimes your pets, your kids are gonna make an appearance during your Google Meet or while you're training, and it's I think I saw a video before about a teacher who's teaching, and then her kid was right behind her doing all sorts of dances and movements. That was really funny. Let's see. Yeah, so for today, I just would like to thank you all again for joining me. And then next week, we are going to have another one of these at 9:30 in the morning on a Saturday. So if you have nothing to do on a Saturday and you're just like having breakfast and you want to listen to some of these thoughts that our teachers have here in the Philippines as well as abroad, then please go ahead and tune in. And next week, I'm going to be guesting Chalk and Cabo, and he's a teacher right now here in Manila. And we are going to be discussing infusing fun in our online classes. So he's a really fun guy. He has a really nice YouTube channel as well that we're going to ask you to follow by next week. He's a really fun teacher, and he's been putting up these tips for teachers on how to engage them and how to also create a space for yourself at home. So next week we'll be discussing infusing fun, and that's really something I really look forward to because I want to know what teachers are doing to make their lessons a lot more engaging and to make their lessons a lot more fun for their students and for themselves. And I think teachers, you also have to do it for yourself, right? So let me see. I do have some more here. Let me just read some of the stuff that I have that I might have missed. Hmm. Yeah, so Alfonso a while ago was saying, make it exciting and fun for students. Just because there's that digital divide between you and your students, it doesn't mean that you won't exert as much effort. Kids need to see their teachers and connect with them. So be present, be in the moment, be present. When you're there with them, be there with them. And like I said earlier, create channels for your students to be able to connect with you so that it's not so you're present for them. So either be present for them in Google Classroom if they need to connect with you there, or make sure that your students know how to contact you if they need your help. So just be present. I know that it's a big ask, and right now with all of the responsibilities that you currently have at home, I know that it's a big responsibility that teachers currently have. Like, you guys are heroes, and kudos to all of you, and congratulations for actually making this work for all of us and for all of your students as well. So here, right. So I just want to thank everybody again. We're 1 minute into ending this broadcast. And if you have any questions for me in the future, you just go ahead and contact us. I do have an an email address here that you can contact. And if you're watching this from the Facebook channel, just go ahead and just pop in a message in Facebook Messenger and also on YouTube. My email address is contact@gtech.guru. So that's my email. And you can just go ahead and email me there. If your school is not yet on Google, then you can also email me so that you can get some help on setting that up for your school. All right, so give me 1 second. Let me just show this email address over. That's the email address that you can contact in case you need a little bit more help around setting up that G Suite for Education for your school. Okay, so there. So with that, thank you again very much for joining us today, and have a great weekend, everybody. Bye.